Hi guys, welcome to the video. So this one is a request after one of the videos I did the other day around toning. So the question is, what happens if you don't want to lose weight but you want to change your body shape a bit? So if you're quite a small person already and you don't think you have any weight to lose but you still want to look different, you want to look more toned or more lean, more muscular, something like that. So that's what this one's going to be about. Right, so apart from our bone structure, the other two things which define the way we look are number one, our body fat levels, and number two, the muscle that sits underneath the fat. And it's actually the muscle that gives us most of the shape. So often when people drop weight, they'll kind of not be happy with the way they look because they don't have that shape. Underneath their clothes, they'll look like they're thin, but when they're naked, they don't have like what people refer to as a toned, sort of lean body, which has contours and shape. So it's actually a lot easier to change your body shape when you're losing fat, because fat is a lot easier to lose than build muscle. So when people have a lot of body fat to lose, they can change their body shape very quickly because it's the fat that changes their body shape. However, if you're quite light and don't have much body fat to lose, then your main aim is going to be to build some lean muscle mass. And this is what's going to change your body shape. You're not going to change much weight, but you'll look different. And just as a side note, if you are a girl, building muscle is not something to worry about. You're not going to look like a man. Building muscle as a girl is what gives you that lean, toned, kind of bikini body look, rather than the stick thin, sometimes people refer to it as deflated balloon, when people lose a lot of body fat or are quite thin anyway. So building that muscle gives you the shape. So there are two things to consider. Number one is the fuel and number two is the stimulus. So I'll go over the fuel first. So you need to be eating enough to grow muscle, and you don't need to go crazy, just around what your body needs. So your maintenance level, that's what we call, or slightly under sometimes if you're trying to lose a bit of body fat at the same time. However, also really important is getting enough protein, because protein is what builds the muscle. It's what your muscle uses to, it's basically the material muscle is made out of. So you need enough of it. So you need to be getting enough in each of your 3 meals and a snack as well. So what I say to go for is to aim for a palm-sized portion of protein in each of your meals. So that would equate to, say, a chicken breast. And think about the thickness as well. So if you're going to say eggs, if you imagine a fried egg, because that's a bit easier to imagine than an egg in a shell. So that would be that size, and then the thickness would be maybe 4 eggs as well. And the same goes for everything. So mincemeat, if you're going to make a meal, sort of that amount of mincemeat. And even stuff like Greek yogurt, if you're going to have Greek yogurt, imagine that amount, that thickness. Because a lot of people, say with their breakfast, they don't necessarily have cooked meats or chicken stuff. But if you're going to go for, say, ham, again, that size with that thickness. So think about the protein. Protein is really important. And aim for, if you're going to be really scientific, take your body weight and go for 1.25 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So if you weigh, say, 70 kilograms, that would be around sort of 120 to 140 grams of protein for your day. And just to be clear, when I say protein, you don't just weigh a chicken breast and that weighs 200 grams. That's not 200 grams of protein. That's what the chicken breast weighs. That would have a certain amount of protein in it. So maybe around 30 or 40 grams. So it's not the weight of the actual meat, it's the amount of actually protein that weight of meat has in it. So number two is stimulus. So your body basically builds muscle based on stimulus or resistance. So if I move my arm here, I'm not being resisted much because I'm just resisting the air. So that's a very small resistance. So there's not really much reason for my body to build any muscle because it doesn't need to, it's easy. However, if I put a weight in my hand, then it becomes a lot harder. So that sends a signal, a stimulus to my body that maybe it needs to build some muscle to make that easier. So the general idea around building muscle is to continuously increase the resistance, the weight, the difficulty. So say that I put that weight in my hand and my body grew some new muscle over a few weeks to make that easier, then it would not get the same stimulus anymore because it's easy again. So what you need to do is continually make the weight harder or increase the amount of work you're doing by increasing the amount of reps or like I said, the amount of weight. So one thing that's really, really important is the challenge, the difficulty of the exercise. So this is where a lot of people go wrong. And so say you're doing an exercise of 8 reps and you get to the 8th rep, it really, really needs to be hard. You need to think, oh, I could only do maybe 1 or 2 more of these and I couldn't do any more. If you could do a lot more, then you're not lifting enough. Also, a lot of people don't know their upper limit because they've never been challenged before. So in this case, it's really, really useful to get someone to watch over you, like a personal trainer or someone that's experienced with exercise, to actually push you and sort of tell you, like, because they know like that you could do more, and just give you the confidence to just lift that extra bit, and so you feel safe and comfortable with doing it. Also, the type of exercises you do are really, really important. So often you see in the gym, people do what we call isolation exercises. So that's where you use one muscle and you do exercises just for that one muscle. However, these aren't really that effective. You can't lift that much weight and they're quite tedious. So the best type of exercises to do as just a general whole body toning and sort of lean muscle building regime are compound lifts. So that's things like deadlifts, squats, hip thrusts, rows, things like that. Things that incorporate lots of muscles in one go, and basically you're able to lift a lot more doing that. So as another side note for girls who are wary, you have to do these big, heavy compound lifts to give your body the stimulus to grow lean muscle. And yes, it can be daunting at first, but this is what gives your body the stimulus, as I said, to grow the lean muscle. And it's a lot harder for a girl to grow muscle than men. And again, you're not going to look like a man, you won't be muscly, but you'll be lean and toned. And this is what the supermodels use to get their bikini bodies. So there's a picture up there now of Kate Upton. So she does a lot of heavy lifting, but she's a supermodel and she has a bikini body. She doesn't look like a man, she doesn't look muscular, she looks lean and toned, and that's what you want. And so the heavy compound lifts are really, really, really important to get this kind of look. So these compound exercises like squats and deadlifts, they need to be difficult, they need to challenge you. So when you get to that last rep, if you've got more than 1 to 2 reps left in the tank, you're probably not doing heavy enough weight. So that classic thing that you hear told to women to do low weight and lots of reps, I hope it's kind of making sense now that it's not really enough, it's not a stimulus enough to grow lean muscle. All it would be doing is just burning energy because you're not giving it the stimulus to actually tell your body, oh yeah, we need to build more muscle to lift this weight. So it is really those high weights and that challenging exercise that gives you that stimulus to grow lean muscle, to change your body shape. And that's really the only way to do it. So I hope that made sense. It's a bit of a difficult topic to discuss on video because it needs a bit more depth and demonstration. However, if you have any questions, just feel free to post them in the comments below. And as always, like, share and comment. And I'll see you in the next one.